Welcome to Crafty Workshop Builds. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace a coolant hose flange on a B7 Audi A4, so stay tuned. The coolant flange is located at the back of the engine and it's a pain to get to, which also makes it hard to record. So I'm going to also demonstrate using an engine that's out of the car. If I was supposed to do this replacement with the engine in the car, you wouldn't be able to see what I'd be doing. You will need to remove the vacuum pump to make room to work. While removing the vacuum pump, it will be hard to see back there. You can use one of these small mirrors to help to see what you're doing. I also have a large mirror that I prefer to use because it has a better view. You will also need a flashlight. I like to use this one because it's slim and I'm able to fit it into tight spaces. It also has a magnetic base which allows me to stick it onto anything that's metal. The vacuum pump is held on by 3 screws, but the space is so tight you won't be able to get a regular ratchet to fit. This is a Torx key set, and you'll be able to reach the screws with this tool. This Torx set has a short arm and a long arm. Here's another tool that you could use to fit back in that tight space. This tool is called a bit ratchet and it can be used with these small Torx bits. It can also be used with an extension to make it longer and give it more leverage. This is the location of the screws that you will need to remove. After you remove the screws, you will need to remove this clamp and pull off the hose. Then the pump will be able to come off. You should pay attention to the metal bar that's sticking off of the pump and the slot that's on the cam gear because you will need to align them when you're reinstalling the pump. Before you start working on the flange, you can drain the coolant to reduce the mess. Remove the metal clip on the lower radiator hose and pull the connection, then catch the coolant in the pan below. You will need to disconnect the coolant temperature sensor. You can access it on this side. If you use a mirror, you will be able to see the sensor back there. This is what the sensor looks like from the back. You can either disconnect the socket using a pick tool or you could just remove the sensor. If you decide to remove the sensor, you will first need to remove the plastic clip. Then you will be able to pull and remove the sensor. Be careful not to drop the plastic clip, and be mindful of the O-ring on the sensor. I recommend that you have a replacement O-ring because if the old O-ring is bad, you won't be able to reuse it. You will need to remove this hose, but you gotta make sure the metal pipe is free so that you can pull on it. The metal pipe is held down by a few screws. Remove this torque screw here and also remove this other torque screw here. Next you can remove this triple square screw, then you can disconnect this plastic hose. Now you can start to remove the hoses. To remove the hose clamps, you can use a needle nose pliers or you can use a hose clamp pliers like this one. This is what it would look like from behind. Remove this clamp and pull the hose down, then remove the other clamp and pull the metal pipe back this way. After you remove the clamps, sometimes the rubber hose tend to stick to the metal pipe. You can use a pick tool or a flathead screwdriver to break it loose before you start pulling. To remove the lower hose, you will need to pull and release the metal clip, then pull down on the connection. It's better to rock back and forth while pulling at the same time. Once you remove all the hoses, you can now remove the two triple square bolts. One thing to note, having a small triple square socket will fit better and make it easier to get to the bolts. This is a normal 8mm triple square socket, and this is a stubby 8mm triple square socket. Look at the overall size difference. All the tools that you will need for this project, I will have them linked in the description below. Once you remove the two bolts, you will be able to pull and remove the coolant hose flange. After you get it off, you can install the new one, then reverse the steps for the remaining components. Don't forget to put back the lower radiator hose and fill the system with coolant. You will also need to bleed the lines. You can loosen this bolt to help to release the air. And that's going to be it for this project. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.